Hello, welcome to Talking Trade, the weekly podcast where we talk about comics so you don't have to. I'm Jeremy, I'm a DC fan.
And I'm John of Marvel Nut.
And we are here in quarantine for day whatever, talking about whatever. Everything just seems to kind of be blending together. John, how's your quarantine?
About the same as it was last week.
Still so good. We're having so
Yeah. This is real. I took this coming Friday, I took it off to have some variety. Yeah.
to mix it up a little bit.
That's all I got.
Matt, how's your quarantine?
Kinda. And
Oh, John's still talking, sorry.
And about the same.
Yeah, I was
John
just
talking
gonna say,
about-
we're in May and I've used one day of vacation. So whatever.
You get more of those though, right?
Mm-hmm. I have a
That's
ton of
good.
vacation, but I've used a day of it.
Woof. Well, I'm glad
It's
you're
fine.
using your vacation. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey.
Matt, quarantine about the same?
Yeah, about the same.
Yeah, I think it's about the same for just about everybody. Although I would hope it'd be the same because it could really only go one way. It could only get worse.
Yep.
Like, there's no news that's made it all better. So I'm glad no one's is worse. Hey, positives. Positives. Well, with that in mind, let's just hop right into This Week in Geek.
This Week in Geek.
This Week in Geek. John, I have news. You have news. This is the first week in a bit that we both have news, and it's not just one person doing all of it. What do you got?
Yes. Well, to start with, we have the Joker 80th. I want to get the correct title for this. 80th Anniversary Super Spectacular is an anthology piece. Comes out June 9th. And it's similar to Action Comics 1000. There was also the Batman 80th Super, the same title, more or less?
Detective Comics.
It was Detective Comics 1. Oh, it was 1000, right?
1000, yeah.
Yeah, it was just after Action.
Yeah.
So a bunch of different authors, artists collaborating. This one has Scott Snyder, Jock, all in caps.
Yeah.
Batman Who Laughs, etc. Danny O'Neill, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Paul Dini, Brian Azzarello, Lee Bermejo, Tony Daniel, a ton. And they announced this week, one of the podcast families I listen to a lot. It's kind of funny. Gary Whitta, who wrote Book of Eli and I believe co-wrote the script for Rogue One, Star Wars story, as well as Greg Miller of Kind of Funny have a piece in there as well. They have a whole story.
Wow.
There's this called Kill the Batman.
Of course.
And they did reveal 2 panels or 2 pages without text. I put in our chat here. And the first one of which has Lois Lane reporting from the Batcave. So,
yeah.
It's going to be nuts.
I'm hoping it's a bunch of alternate universe storylines where the Joker wins. That's an interesting way to do it. Because it'll be an anthology book.
If they all a common thread like that, that'd be interesting.
That's it's going to be multiple stories. That's what they've done with every single one of those big event books, which is cool. And I love it. So I hope that continues.
I also didn't realize there were years between Batman and the Joker appearing.
Yeah, and that's
Batman's 80th was a bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
2016, I believe.
Yeah.
It was a bit.
Batman also used to kill people, so
Yes, he did.
we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Sticking with news, that's interesting. I'm very excited to see it. But sticking with news about DC, the DC app, DC Universe, it's in a place right now. HBO Max is going to be launching soonish. There's not a set date as far as I'm seeing here, but it appears that since HBO Max is developing some major DC projects, which again, nothing said for sure, the company's figuring out how to navigate stuff with overlapping content. This also comes down to the prices too. HBO Max is looking to be set at it launches May 27th, and it's looking to be at $15 a month. whereas the DC app is $8 a month. So if they have the exact same content, if I'm just looking for DC stuff, or if they're the exact same content and the DC app has or the HBO app has all of the comics and movies that I want from DC, I could see people switching over to get all of their DC content, comics and all, and Westworld and The Outsider and stuff like that. But if it's just, hey, you have to pay for this to watch whatever, Booster Gold, the TV show, I personally am not going to switch over just for HBO Max just to get 2 or 3 shows. I will do I'll do the trial at the end of it and binge it all in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems likely. I also am curious to see the depth of HBO Max's content. In terms of DC, I guarantee you're going to get a ton more on the dedicated app for DC.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just looking like there's going to be some original stuff on HBO Max.
Which, I don't know how to view that, because Watchmen was developed, the DC property that was developed for HBO.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be more like that on that scale, or if it's just, we're making, like, some Power Girl, something's in production. And that is, like, it was going to go to DCU. Are we going to pivot and put it on this service? I don't know if that's the case. That there's something in development and they're like, maybe we should do this instead. Or if it's like, this is in development for this. This is in development for this.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen. I just know that I'm very happy with the DC Universe app. I think it's been a great service. I think it's improved dramatically since launch. Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy. I don't plan on losing
almost it. Every service can only go up from launch because you get more features, you get more bug fixes, you get better builds, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
More content.
As long as they don't lose the right to their own content, I don't see a reason for me to leave it.
No, and nothing says everything has to be exclusively A or B.
That's true.
Things could be on both.
That's true, which would be neat. Do you have any news that transitions cleanly that we now have ruined because I mentioned the transition?
No.
Cool. Perfect. Then what do you got?
Shang-Chi.
Yikes.
Like I said, don't really transition cleanly. So the movie, they leaked some set pieces that include the year 2020 sprayed in graffiti.
Okay.
What that means is this movie could be set during the snap.
Yeah.
Which we currently have nothing in terms of movie or TV in the MCU. There are some comics that touch upon it, but nothing live action.
Interesting.
Yet. So it could be the first thing to delve into those 5 years.
That'd be really interesting.
I'm down.
It would be. It would remind me of Secret Empire, the Kingpin, how he seized power because all this chaos was happening. Hey, something similar could happen with Mandarin. Who knows?
Oh, actual Mandarin.
Actual factual Mandarin.
I'm down.
Me too.
I'm okay if Trevor Slattery comes back.
Nothing would please me
some
more.
Kind of reference to him.
Nothing would please me more.
How do you?
But I'm also very excited for actual factual Mandarin. What?
How do you ignore that? You have to have some kind of, even if it's just a reference, right? It's such a big deal.
Yeah, he was. He was.
I would love it, but All Hail the King does establish that he is definitely not the Mandarin. There actually is another Mandarin.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I'm talking about from Marvel, the company's perspective. Everyone loved that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Maybe a poster or something. I don't know.
What's he doing right now? Nothing.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm sure he would absolutely do it. Ben King.
He strikes me as the kind of guy who likes doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe what they'll do is they'll have a photo of him, and one plot point they could do is they could just have Trevor be snapped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Bang. Good.
And then it's okay, well, now it's my time as the actual Mandarin to reveal and do whatever plan I have in mind.
Right.
I have these 10 rings. I'm down. I'm trying to watch
you
that.
Missed the spot.
Well, so that's an interesting. So Trevor Slattery was an interesting casting for the Mandarin, but what's also an interesting casting was Haley Steinfeld as Hawkeye's daughter, friend thing, Kate Bishop.
Yes,
that has now since been addressed by Haley Steinfeld. She was asked on Sirius XM's morning mashup, where were you? are you joining the Marvel Universe? What's that about? And she said, right now I will tell you that I'm just, music is where my head's at. That's what I'm focused on. That's what's occupying my brain. So it sounds like nothing, despite previous rumors and stuff like that, nothing has been confirmed. They are looking beyond her. The reports have recently surfaced that are looking beyond her for the role. A handful of unnamed actresses have been in consideration, but she was, it seems, the initial first choice. So, but it might not be her.
Seems pretty obvious that you want at least a Haley Steinfeld type in that role. That seems like pretty perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
But we'll see what happens. Also, we'll see what happens with that show, period.
They could just go to Florida and say they're wrestlers and then they're an essential business and just film it there.
He's right.
Tell me I'm wrong.
That's some commentary.
Is it?
Or that they believe the business that, or the experience they provide is essential, therefore they're essential.
That's what they were deemed an essential business.
Yep.
That's like a fact. That's not me making a joke.
What are you doing?
It's Florida. It's Florida. You got to remember where you're talking about. You're talking about Florida. Yeah, that's like a real thing. They were declared an essential business. The WWE was just declared an essential business.
Yep.
Great.
Hey man, so hey, movies, right? What do you got for news other than that?
Just those two items. There was a lot of stuff I saw that was reportedly hints at, et cetera, that isn't actual news.
Yeah, just kind of rumor mill churning.
Yeah.
I got one more thing then.
Go for it.
The CW, home of the Arrowverse, the Berlantiverse, if you will, has acquired the broadcast rights for Swamp Thing.
What do you think this means?
I really hope that it means, well, one, it could mean that they're just going to broadcast season 1, or technically the whole series. Just
do you think that's the deal? Is that they're allowed to air episodes of the show?
That's what it says.
That's the extent of the deal. Okay.
So far. Now, that doesn't mean we don't know all the details of the deal. That detail could mean, hey, if this does well, we're going to make a Swamp Thing show to continue the Berlantiverse more. Because the Swamp Thing made a cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes, he did.
So,
as did the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. So there's that.
Anything's possible. I just hope it means there's going to be more Swamp Thing, because that show was very well received. It was pretty well done. It was shot in a different weird way. It was like a horror show, but it was good. I liked it. And I would like more of that.
I've only heard positive feedback about the Swamp Thing show.
Well, you got the app. You can check it out.
Yeah, I can check it out.
It's a good show.
A lot of stuff.
It's not transformative in any way. It's not like, oh my God, this changed the way I looked at TV. No, but it's a good show, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I would like for more of that. More of the green, please. Thank you. Which transitions to talking about the red in Animal Man and our pull list this week.
Here's your pull list.
This week on the pull list, we are talking about Animal Man. Animal Man is written by Jeff Lemire, and it is drawn by Travel Foreman, and Steve Pugh worked on this as well in the later issues. But yes, Lemire and Foreman were the initial to work on this. But Animal Man, what do you two know about Animal Man coming into this?
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Cool. He was a list character. I don't even know if I can put him on a tier list. The poor guy.
V or lower?
Yeah. Not because his powers aren't cool, because his powers are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But just in the zeitgeist of DC Comics, he was not very highly received. That wasn't until Grant Morrison took on Animal Man. Grant Morrison brought Animal Man into the spotlight. He became a much more interesting character. He went through existential arcs and horror arcs. It was very, very good. So when Jeff Lemire took over for the New 52, it was also very well received. The Animal Man stuff here takes on the very horror-centric storylines and visuals, of course, that are come to be synonymous with Del Toro horror and The Fly and who's that guy who does all the body horror stuff? It's gonna drive me nuts. Cronenberg. Thank God. Cronenberg, very Cronenberg-esque. Cronenberg did The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, but stuff like that. Very Lovecraftian too. Very traditional horror, very, very, very good. In most senses of the word, I really enjoyed Animal Man much more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
But let's just jump right into it. Let's just jump right into this book. So issue 1 opens up with a Variety or a Vanity Fair article, a interview between Buddy Baker, Animal Man, and the Believer is the name of the publisher. Do you think that had any reference to anything? The Believer? No, neither of you. Missing out on the very obvious one that I was thinking of. Seems like
all I can think of is like the Christian one, The Observer.
Well, like
But
there was
I
this
don't
really famous guy. I don't know if you
see
heard
a
of him.
relation.
His name was Stan Lee. And he called people true believers all the time. But this opens up after that. So this little interview about Buddy. He was in a movie, and the believer's like, "Oh, so what's it like being a superhero and an actor?" He's like, "Well, I was actually a stunt guy first, blah blah blah." And we get a little bit of backstory on Buddy Baker.
Yeah.
He was a stuntman, then he was a superhero, then he was an animal rights activist. Now he's a dad.
Well, he's an actor and a dad.
True. He did a movie called Tights.
Yep.
Which we will get
more about
into.
that later.
Yeah.
But this is just a typical scene at home with his wife and his 2 kids. And his daughter wants a dog, and he's like, "No, because of my powers," which is like one hell of a reason to not get a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good get out of jail free card with that. But yeah, because apparently if he's around an animal too long / close, it'll mess with stuff.
He bonds to it, and he can't bond to other animals.
Mm-hmm.
So his son runs in and is like, "Yo, I have a mullet. I'm literally the worst character." He doesn't say that.
Yeah.
But he's ugly, man. That's just a bad haircut on this poor kid.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was cute at one point, but then they gave him this haircut. This poor kid. He's like, "Dad, there's a guy in a hospital with a gun." And Buddy's like, "Oh, hey, honey, I know you're making some crappy dinner, but I guess I gotta go." And she's like, "You?" She loves him, though. She supports him, but I like that she literally goes from, "I want you to be a superhero again because it made you happy," to then him wanting to go be a superhero. And she's like, "No, stay home." And he's like, I can't win with you.
Yeah. She's like, "You never do any Animal Man stuff anymore."
And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go do Animal Man stuff." She goes, "But you're never home."
You're going to leave me here with our kids. How could you?
Yeah. It's like, one of these days, Alice. So he goes and he stops the man at the hospital who was holding up a children's ward because he had kind of snapped after his daughter died.
Yeah, he holds a ward up demanding the professionals bring his daughter back.
Yeah, it's messed up.
It's not going to happen. Also, it's not going to happen.
But it also kind of shows us right off the bat, this book is not going to be a traditional comic book. Or a traditional superhero book.
And it didn't read like anything anything that I would associate, I guess, published by, especially at this time, DC, not under like Vertigo or something, like a different label.
Yeah, like their Black Label. It's very dark.
Mm-hmm.
We see him kind of transform here a little bit. He doesn't actually take on any physical characteristics of an animal. He just gains their power. So he barks at the guy, which is like, he says it's like his go-to move. He gets the strength of an elephant, the reflexes of a fly, and the speed of a cheetah, which is like his favorite.
Not even knowing who this guy, like in universe, like not knowing who this guy is. Some dude goes in and is like, "You better back off." And then he barked at me. I'd probably back off.
That's game. Like, I put my gun down. Hey, no, you know what? I'm out.
That's a bluff you don't want to call.
You ever seen, there's a video of like a middle school basketball team, which like is a weird way to start a conversation, but there's a video of a middle school basketball team, and kid like rebound, or he like throws the ball in, he inbounds the ball, and another kid drops to the floor and starts,
"Oh my God, no!"
And the entire other team turns and looks at him, and they're like, so he's at like the 3-point line by like where like the end of the court.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting there, he's barking loudly, and the whole team stops and stares at him, and the other kid gets the ball and hits a uncontested 3-pointer. Like the other team doesn't even try to stop him. It's like a set.
I'd love to think that before the whistle, like, "Okay, Jimmy, just like we practiced."
You got it, coach.
There's no rules against barking like a dog in basketball.
There
That's
are not.
exactly correct. Side tangent
'Cause-
again.
Yeah, because I imagine that the other team had to, or like, I'm sorry, his team had to know what was going on.
Oh, it was a setup. It was a set play.
Oh my god,
It
that's
was a
that's
set
incredible.
practice play.
That's brilliant.
But to that same point, this this guy holding up the hospital does the same thing.
Yeah.
Another tangent. There's a great Vine I saw where a kid comes in, or a guy, he's playing a kid, but he walks into this basketball and then it cuts him, it's the dad, and he goes, "So, son, how'd tryouts go?" And he goes, I'm sorry, Dad. And Dad goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "There was this freaking dog."
See that one?
I love
That's
Airbud
great.
humor.
Yeah.
I wonder if any states changed their rules to put no dogs can play
To where
basketball.
dogs can't play basketball,
I wonder, right? You
or
gotta
to
think
play you
someone
have to
did
be
it.
a human.
Those are the states that you actively avoid.
Someone did it. Somebody,
I'm
some
sure
high school
someone did.
somewhere has that.
Are they the states that would have needed that law?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, they are.
Interesting.
Back to Animal Man. So he stops the robber, and his cop friend's like, "Oh, hey, you did a great job." "Oh, dear sweet Jesus, your eyes
You got a little something
Yeah.
gushing from your eyes there.
Bleeding
his eyes
from
are
his
just gushing
eyes.
blood."
Just brutes, magoots.
Yeah, it's the cover of a metal album for sure.
But medically, there's nothing wrong with him.
He's totally fine.
He's as healthy as a horse.
I caught that. I rolled
Yep.
my
Yeah,
eyes pretty
That was
hard.
funny.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm thinking like, oh, you could have the height of a rhino, the bark of a dog, the health of a horse.
I do like in this book the little moments of like, oh man, the floorboards are creaking as I'm coming home. I take on the nimbleness of a cat. Oh, I really want to go to sleep. I take on the instant napping ability of a cat. Like,
Yeah, the floorboards was like I take on the weight of a bee.
that's what it was. Yes.
They're cute, but they also like do an excellent job at catching the audience up to what his power set is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like you said, he's on some kind of tier. Who knows which one?
This put him higher up for me, man.
Yeah, for you, me personally, but like in the greater scheme of DC and how he's viewed, I don't. This is
He
the
is the
first I've
Justice League.
heard of him. Period.
Yeah.
He's been in 0 incarnations of any of the Justice Leagues.
I pulled Power Girl out of nowhere, but I couldn't have possibly dreamt of Animal Man before.
Power Girl is significantly higher.
Is she?
Oh yeah, she's Kryptonian.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a big deal. So Animal Man comes home, falls asleep next to his wife, like happy that his kids are okay, and he's really worried about his, this situation made him think about his family, and he has the scariest dream of all time.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It
His
goes
wife is
black
dead.
and white. That's how scary it is.
Well, yeah, wife is dead. His son is literally eviscerated.
Yeah, mutilated.
The actual definition of the term eviscerated.
And the son is like, no, it's my sister Maxine. Is that her name?
Maxine, yeah.
Maxine. Like you can't believe it. And he goes, well, where's your mom? He goes, that's the worst part. The thing she did to mom. And you're like, okay. And then he turns around. He's holding his guts. He's disemboweled.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, oh, it's okay. Mr. Woofers and I are going to help you. And Maxine's there with this massive snarling dog. And her and the dog lead him into a river of blood.
Dog's like halfway between a normal dog and Clifford in terms of size.
Yes.
Yes.
That is actually a perfect size description.
And Animal Man becomes an entire central nervous system.
Yeah. You're completely glossing over the river of blood.
I said it.
He already mentioned the river of blood, but we can touch back on the
But,
fact
like,
that
it's a
there's a
river
river
of
of
blood.
blood. And it's like the
Hey,
only
man,
thing.
I've read Dante's Inferno like 3 times. I'm used to rivers of blood.
And it's like the only thing, what I really liked what they did art wise is like the only thing that has color in this dreams are like the blood and the nervous system and
The guts.
the guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
All
that
of
was
the
really, neat.
Red.
All the red.
See what they did there? A little bit of
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, I get it.
And the girl Maxine's like, "Oh, we gotta hide. You gotta hide in the blood, Dad." It's like, "From what?" And she goes, "Up, it's too late. They're here." And then
The bad guys who wear the suits.
and the 3 guys who are there, the 3 things are the most grotesque creatures I've ever seen in my entire life in a comic book.
Yeah.
They are just pure nightmare fuel.
Yep.
They are undescribable in a audio podcast.
Yeah,
They are Cronenberg's Fly. They are Cthulhu. They are Reanimator. All this stuff just like jammed together, and it's gross.
They're the Hunters 3, is what they're
they are
referring to
the
as.
Hunters 3.
Yes, and they're really scary.
Yeah, they're creepy.
He snaps awake, and his wife is gone, and she's like, "You got to come out to the backyard. This is the scariest thing." And his daughter, who really wanted a pet of her own, now has a bunch of pets, and they're all dead animals that she resurrected.
Yep.
And what's most chilling about this whole thing is how nonchalant and at ease the daughter is about
Mhm.
doing these crazy things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's messed up.
Like, I'm sorry, Daddy, I just wanted a pet of my own.
Yeah,
That's
when
why I
you take your daughter-
reanimated all these dogs
Mm-hmm.
and chickens.
That's when
and,
you're
yeah, and everything.
you are out. Nope, you just have a son now. That's it.
You just have a son now.
Game over. That's no. I like to think this. I'm gonna transition a little bit. My dad's told me that if like I was like, hey, what would you do if like horror movie situation happened? He goes, oh, the house would be burned down. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, all right, so like let's say the drawers all opened at once, right? That's one thing. But then if I hear one thing in the middle of the night, I'm getting you guys. We're leaving the house and I'm burning it to the ground. And I go, so that's how I know we would never be in a horror movie because we would leave. He goes, oh yeah, absolutely. This is that situation.
Yeah.
Your daughter, who is 4 years old, by the way, resurrected like 7 or 8 animals.
Yeah,
Game.
those are some top tier necromancy skills right there.
This is like level 20 necromancy stuff.
Yeah, top tier.
And so her parents are like, hey, listen, why don't you just put them back? And she's like,
but
no, I can't. They're from the place.
And he's like, the place?
You know the place? It's in this weird blood marking on your chest.
And yeah, and now Animal Man has like blood red tattoos that start out of his eyes and mouth as blood drips down his body to create a map and symbols that turn black on his chest and face.
The red place.
The red place.
Yeah.
Through a series of horrible, horrible events, the daughter explains that we have to go to the red place. This is all, of course, after she turns the neighbor's hand into a chicken hand, because that's a thing that happens.
Yep. She's got some power.
Her power
strong.
Vastly surpasses Buddy's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Buddy realizes that there's only 2 options. Get rid of the daughter, or we go explore the red place. He doesn't even talk about the first option, which is ridiculous, because that's what I would do. I'm not saying I would like hurt her, but like I'm moving away from this child because this is scary. This is how you start the sequel to a bad horror movie. Is this exact thing? I don't need James A. Janice counting the kills in my life. Okay, I don't need that. This is terrifying. That is a Dead Meat reference for like literally 3 people who listen to this podcast. So Matt and I are 2 of them.
Yep.
And I'm here.
Yeah. So Dead Meat is I think I've shown you Dead Meat, haven't I, John?
It's not ringing a bell right now.
It's good.
It's a show on YouTube. Very, very good. He breaks down. James A. Janice is this guy's name. He breaks down horror movies by their kill count.
Yeah, he does kill counts.
He does like a brief review of the movie as he goes through every single kill in the movie, and he gives like a golden chainsaw for the best kill, a dull machete for the worst kill. Makes a bunch of incredibly funny jokes throughout the entire thing. Very, very funny. Very worth watching.
Yeah,
even if you're not a horror movie fan.
He's fantastic. I don't like horror that much, but I love watching the kill count stuff because it's like, oh, I get the story synopsis without being scared and getting nightmares. It's great.
Yeah, it's very good for that. I'm a huge
Speaking of nightmares, meanwhile, at the San Diego Zoo.
Yeah.
Oh, God. This was horrible.
Poor hippos.
Yeah, dude, hippos are my favorite animal. So these hippos are like distended, like crazy.
Yeah, the zookeeper first of all was like, "Hey, so I think the hippos are pregnant." And they're like, "No, it's impossible. We only have lady hippos."
Yeah, they're all female.
You know, like in Fantasia. And he's like, "No, they're gigantic."
Well, no. Stop. The Fantasia reference?
not
Yeah, lady
direct-
hippos.
No,
not
I
Jur-
understand. I'm just
Jurassic
impressed.
Park.
I feel like it
Oh,
needs to be
thank you.
I mean,
don't-
I
I don't think I've seen, or I can't remember the last time I've heard a Fantasia reference. So John, that's very nice, very good. So Mickey with a sorcerer's hat shows up, and no, so the hippos are like, oh god, this is bad, and then we cut to Animal Man is kind of this is where we kind of get a brief overview of his powers. So he's got the web of life that goes through his brain and his heart. He's connected to it, and it's how he can change into it's a morphogenetic field is what he calls it, engineered by Star Labs, and he can kind of access this to access all the animals in the universe, or in the world rather, and he can take on abilities from them. What's interesting is the little girl talks about, no, this is the red place. This
Mhm.
tree that they get to a tree, and it's like, this is the red place, and it's okay. You don't have to worry about. It's not going to hurt you, Dad.
But the tree, to me, looked similar to like the nervous system.
Very much so.
Mhm.
And they touch it, and they go inside the tree into what the little girl calls the red. And when that came up, John, you texted me.
Yeah, we happened to reading this around the same time because I took a lunch break and started this book, and I was like, "So is the red like the green?"
And it is. So the
Mhm.
green is for plant life. The red is for organic, or not. I guess
Not
it's
that.
organic. It's for non-plant life, humans, animals, sentient creatures that.
It's for the fauna.
Green is for fauna, yeah, but they're organics. I can't say like non-organic, organic. It's like
It's just
No, but there's
plants.
flora and there's fauna. Flora is the plant life, and fauna is the rest. So it's the fauna, whereas the green is for the flora.
boom. There you go. And they go inside the red.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the zoo, those horrible hippos were actually the hunters we saw in Animal Man's dream.
The
and
Hunters
they are-
3.
They are so horrible.
They're messed up.
They're,
Like-
they
Cool.
they
Just
eat
like
the,
one of them, like there's just it's honestly, it predates it, but it's honestly pretty Attack on Titan with like no skin, nothing but like the muscle, and it looks
Yeah.
super weird.
The
Then-
one who has hooves kind of reminds me of if you guys saw the Time
That's the
Machine.
one.
I have not seen the time.
I have not.
Okay. Well, the Time Machine has monsters that kind of remind me of this, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The
They,
next issue involves
Well, you forgot they eat the zookeepers and then they take their skins like in Men in Black.
yeah,
Alien and Men in Black takes their skin.
But they all look just off.
Just yeah, exactly.
and they would look better if they had kept their hosts alive and fed slowly,
Mhm.
but they fed too quickly, so it is what it is.
They were hungry.
Hey man, you haven't eaten in a few dozen years and you get a buffet, you're gonna go nuts.
I don't
That's all I'm
disagree.
saying.
The inside the red, Maxine is totally fine, but Animal Man is like just he's
Getting
gross.
stretched out, and yeah, it's weird.
His body goes inside out at one point. But then he kind of like reforms back into a human, and he sees the other animal men, and these are not animal men like him. They are totems of the old world. They are people they are beings similar to him who could connect to what they call the red, and they are inside now. The horrible hunters are going toward Maxine's mom and dad, or mom and brother. So Animal Man's wife and kid, and
Yep.
two of them go. They feel Animal Man and Maxine in the red. So two of the hunters go for the red. One of them stays behind to hunt down the wife and the kid.
Mhm.
The wife and the kid are able to escape in a car, and they drive away, and they call Animal Man's cop buddy.
Yeah, because when the one knocks on the door, he's doing a very, very, very poor job of holding it together,
Yeah.
holding the form together.
Yeah,
It's a weird tentacle spaghetti mass
looks
and
kind of
it's
like
weird.
like
It looks like a
creepy version of Tangela
brain.
from Pokemon, like a creepy Tangela.
Yes. But
That's
all
what
of it
Missing
looks
Noah
like,
would look like if it was all organic.
but like at the top, it looks like a brain, and then the bottom looks like thinner cerebral stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross.
It's messed up. It's also really, really difficult to accurately describe this in just audio media.
Yeah, yeah.
They drive away. They call the cop. the hunter ends up going after the cop and taking its form to meet up with Maxine and what's the Dylan
Mullet Boy.
Mullet Boy.
Oh, yeah,
As that's
fuck off.
happening, inside the red, the hunters are attacking Maxine and Animal Man. Animal Man takes on the form of a gorilla, but he actually becomes gorilla-like, which is different. And he's fighting, but he actually gets taken down by one of the hunters to the point where he seems to be kind of down for the count, which is very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
But then the Avatar's like, just fix him.
yeah.
And she's like,
So
I'm
the daughter,
four.
the daughter like is able to. So her powers are so strong, so much stronger than Animal Man's, that she can literally just reform him, Animal Man, inside the red. She also blasts the two hunters away with her mind powers, like a force powers, like a Jedi. That was cool. So it just proves that she's incredibly strong here in the red.
Yeah, when she fixed him, she's like, oh, it's like clay. This is easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the totems, the animal men are called the totems, and they're like, here's the deal: your daughter's way stronger than you. We are the people who came before, and those hunters are people like us who turned to essentially the dark side. They were enticed, they were lured away from the red, and they went into the black.
We call it the rot.
They became the rot, and they are just out to eat and kill. You
Also, you don't matter.
Yeah, it's
Only
all
your
about
daughter matters.
You
You
need to save your
fulfilled your purpose, which is like having your daughter.
Yeah.
Have
We
your
don't
daughter,
care about
train
you.
your daughter. That's it.
Even then, one
Yeah,
of the
even then.
avatars decides like I'll train the boy, or like the girl.
Yeah, the cat.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
leaving the red are Animal Man, Maxine, and a cat named Socks, who I'm pretty sure Socks was the name of a presidential cat.
Yeah.
I think it was Bill Clinton's cat. Matt, you look that up.
Sure.
Outside the red, the wife, whose name is
I
Ellen.
believe Ellen and son
Mrs.
name is
Man.
Cliff.
Yeah, Mullet Man and Ellen get to.
His name is Cliff.
They agreed a long time ago that if any trouble ever happened, that Ellen would meet up with Buddy at her mom's house, which is a farm out in like the middle of nowhere. She's there. She's kind of talking to her mom, who doesn't like Buddy at all. And she's like, here's what's happening. I'm scared for the kids. What are we going to do? Hey, where's Mullet Boy? And the cop had lost his form and revealed himself as one of the hunters and took Cliff and the body of the cop out into the woods.
Yep.
Ellen goes after them. At the same time, Animal Man comes to the house. It's like, oh, I know where they are. Let's go get them. Everything's going to be okay. And Ellen sees the monster devouring the cop, what's left of the cop. She shoots at it. It's not working because I don't even know this. These hunters, bullets don't work. Animal Man lands, takes out what he can. He beats up the hunter as best as he possibly can, but the hunter's way too strong for him.
Mm-hmm.
So Ellen runs off with Mullet Boy to go see Maxine. And Maxine's like, I can help. I'm really good at stuff. So let me
Yeah,
just
she's like,
send
we
you-
need to help Daddy. No, we have to go. She's like, no, I don't have to go anywhere. I just gotta help him.
So she
Yeah.
sends, it becomes in tune with all the creatures around her, ants, bears, foxes, everything, and sends it to destroy the hunter. Great idea, kid. That's what I
Yeah.
would have thought to do too. Here's the problem. If those creatures do that, they can't use guns, they can't use knives, they have to use what God gave them. So their claws, their teeth, that's what animals do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem.
That's all they can do.
If they eat the rot, they become the rot.
That's
Mhm.
a
So
problem.
they do that, and then they do that. And now they're the rot.
Yep.
And yes, Socks is the Clintons' cat. Or
Yes,
was the
dude.
Clintons' cat.
Nice. I'm so smart. The rot, before it's killed, shows Buddy what's going to happen, and he sees. You guys ever read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
No.
No.
You know the covers, though, right? From when we were kids?
Yeah.
That's what happens to Maxine.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those horrible Guillermo del Toro style covers. and she eats her dad's face.
Yep.
And it's horrible. And the animal man's like, you can't do that. That's my daughter. And he's like, I'm gonna do that. I don't care if that's your daughter. That's how the hunter talks. And then the animals eviscerate the hunter, but now the animals are the rot. So
Yeah.
Yep.
They begin to
And-
chase after Animal Man and his family, and they're like, oh, okay. The cat's like, you guys suck at this. You guys are really bad at saving everybody. We gotta go see Swamp Thing like now.
And they're like, well, we forgot the dog. And they're like, it's too late for that dog.
heart. That
Dude, that
broke my
sucked.
heart. That was so sad.
I hated it.
He was just doing his job, being a strong boy.
Not his fault. Thought he didn't do anything wrong. Then the last issue of this trade is it's the movie
Tights.
that Animal Man is in.
Yeah, tights.
It's a neat little thing here, but it doesn't have any bearing on the story. And the issue ends with Mullet Man watching that movie. He was watching the movie. That's like how it works. And Buddy's like, "Oh, you're watching pornography?" And he's like, "Ew, Dad, that's gross. I have a mullet.
Don't ever say that again.
Ew."
Ew.
I did think it was cute that he was watching his dad's trailer and he
Yeah.
refused to tell his dad he was watching.
He
it.
watched
I'm
the whole
oh, he
movie.
does care.
Yeah, he was watching
Yeah,
the movie
the
until his
movie, I'm
battery
like,
died.
Okay, that is pretty cute.
Yeah, I thought that was
I'll
cute
give it
too.
that.
And Socks is like, "That's fine. You guys are all weird. We have to find Alec Holland. He is Swamp Thing. If you know who Alec Holland is." And I'm like, "I know who Alec Holland is, and I love Alec Holland. He's great." And Ellen's like, "This sucks. Everything sucks." And the daughter's like, "It's fine. I'm helping."
Well, she felt bad.
I don't. She's 4. She's allowed to be wrong. I'm totally fine with that. But she's
Yeah,
terrifying, and should leave her on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's the thing is like just how
Scary that little girl
commonplace
is.
this is. How she doesn't think it's weird. I'm just like, oh my god.
Well,
Yeah.
she's also 4, and her dad's a superhero. Anything's
Yeah.
possible, I guess.
Yeah.
But she's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
But I'm
Yeah.
an outside reader.
Yeah, no,
Have
absolutely.
thoughts
We're the
and
Greek
emotions.
chorus. Here's the thing. In those movies when they're like, the little kids are like, "Mommy, I saw a ghost." Like, that's fine. You're adopted now. I'm leaving you somewhere. Because, like, you're haunted. And if you're not haunted, fine, we'll leave together. But, like, if it's you that keeps bringing, like, "They're here." No, you're gone. See ya. No, game over. That's no, absolutely not. Poltergeist would never have happened with me. I would have just left.
Or your dad.
Moved the
Burn to the ground.
gravestones, but you didn't move the bodies, did ya? That's from. Yours ever seen Poltergeist? Of course you haven't seen
No.
Poltergeist.
I have not.
It's fantastic and it's very scary.
No, only movie I've seen where a child sees dead things is Sixth Sense.
It's not a scary movie.
No, it's billed as a horror movie.
It's
but
that
really
genre,
not.
but it's not
Yeah.
scary.
It's
No.
a suspense.
It's a very good movie.
Bruce Willis is dead the whole time. Did you guys know that?
Yeah,
Spoiler
I knew
alert.
that. I knew that going
Mhm.
in because the
We-
movie's
we'd seen
very
it.
old.
Good. I'm so glad. So looking at the next issue or the next volume, we will cover next time we do a DC book. But it does delve more into it's the green versus the red. So that's or the green and red versus the rot. So it's very interesting. I'm very excited. The tagline includes the Justice League Dark. So you know your boy's in. You
Yeah.
know I'm excited.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Looking forward to it. But what did you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I was not expecting to enjoy it like as much as I did. When I started it, I was like, okay, this is somebody that I knew who existed just because that name is very generic, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was creepy. There were parts that were just like
Yeah.
just like what set the tone with Maxine reviving the dead animals. I was like, okay.
How about the bleeding eyes?
Yeah. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, from the beginning, you're like, okay, this is not going to be.
This isn't going to be what I expect an Animal Man comic to
It
be
was a
about.
horror book for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But not in the sense of like jump scares or something. It was like a horror book in like I don't know, like a good sense of the word.
Mhm.
It was scary without being hokey or without being cliche. I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought that the Believer article at the beginning was brilliant.
Yeah.
'Cause it's for people who don't know anything about Animal Man. I thought that was really great.
This did.
Yeah, it was
the
a
thing that we
very
always
good
on
way to
Marvel
do it.
books, or that we always like laud Marvel books for doing. Of like, hey, you've never
Mhm.
read this? Here is some backstory.
And
Yeah.
this is definitely a property that needed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was very good. I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah, good.
Like, I know we always got a 10. I would give it probably an 8.5, only because the narrative didn't finish.
Right.
Okay.
You know, like, just because, like, nothing is resolved.
No.
Like, actually nothing is resolved. But I'm very excited, very into the notion of finishing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. I really enjoyed it. I really like horror stuff. I've always been a big horror fan, and I liked that. I hate body horror stuff, but this was like a super interesting way to do it. I thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It made
It was really
sense.
well done. Knowing a bit of the green, I'm like, okay, this is the red.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I could kind of draw that parallel. That was super cool. I was I played like a massive ton of Persona, and I'm lately, and I'm like, let's get weird. Let's do some weird stuff, because this
do
went
some
into the
weird
weird,
stuff.
and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. All right, well, I'm glad we all enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to Cumbering Volume 2 in 2 weeks, but let's talk what we're doing next week in the outro. And that's the podcast this week, John and Matt. What a good one. What a fun little horror story we got to enjoy.
Mhm.
John, I know you love your mad scientists that go in the horror genre, so I figured you would probably want to read something interesting next week. What are we reading?
We're reading The Superior Spider-Man, Volume 1, Full Auto.
Ooh.
It's a pun on
It
Full
is a
Auto.
Oh,
It's a good pun.
Now I
That's a
got it.
good
The
one.
Superior Spider-Man, spoilers, guys, is Otto Octavius.
Whoa, dude, we haven't even read the book. That's messed up, bro.
Well,
That's messed up, bro. Who wrote that?
I love
book?
the original Superior Spider-Man. I'm very excited to read this trade.
Christos
Um,
Gage wrote it.
Last
Mike
year's. Yep.
Hawthorne was our penciler. Wade Von Grawbadger and Victor Olaboza and Andy Owens did the inking. Jordy Belair was our colorist. And VC's Clayton Cowles did lettering. We've had him on the podcast a few times for different books. Very cool, very cool, very cool.
And just so you know, the second volume is automatic,
Oh my God.
so it doesn't stop there.
It's
Oh
a
my
comic after my own heart.
Terrible puns.
I'm
and
very
spiders.
excited, you guys. Very excited.
Yeah, that is a very Matt and John issue book. So I'm looking forward to reading. I haven't read any of the new Superior Spider-Man, only the old stuff. So that'll be cool.
I think I've read issue 0 and the Superior. What was it called? For Secret Empire, he had a thing. I'll think of it. Superior Octopus.
Yes,
There was,
he's like
there was
green
one
in
issue of
that
that I read. Yeah, it was cool. It was
Dope.
super cool.
Dope. All right, well, really know
Marvel?
what's that?
Marvel Corner? John, do you have any more Marvel?
Ooh,
Oh, I don't.
You
that's
don't?
fine.
Because I would have to spend money on the Incredible Hulk, as well as the work got crazy with,
Sure.
the unpleasantness.
Sure.
And
The COVID.
I've been doing nothing but playing Persona and role playing.
Hey, that's
Hey, man.
all
Great
that-
time.
that's
You're allowed to
good
take a
time.
week off of Marvel.
I have the time of my life.
All right, well then, hopefully, next week maybe we'll have some Marvel Corner.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
If not, next week we can talk about in the outro. Maybe we can do an episode on Red Sun the movie.
Yeah, do a one shot.
I'd be
Figure that
down, the three of us, to watch it on like Discord together because I own it and we can do it at one shot. So that'd be fun. We can
Yeah,
talk
that'd be
about
a
that.
good
We can talk about that off mic. For right now, we have a commercial pitch meeting thing from this group who asked to be on this episode. this can't be their real name. John, do you have the notes for this one? Do I have this right?
Yeah, I had to quadruple check it.
Are we
I don't
sure?
think they know what irony is.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother saying it. We're just gonna throw it to them. So have a week, everybody. All right, Mr. Buddy Baker, is it?
Yeah, that's
Wonderful. We are very excited to have you here. My name being John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, and my
Nice to meet
associate.
And that is also my name.
me.
Yes.
Wow. Well, hey, that'll make things easier for remembering your name. Yeah, I'm really on board to try and help out the animals with you guys.
Great. Well, we here
Absolutely.
would love to have you on. We here being, of course, Mr. Schmidt.
We are MEAT, which of course is comprised of members for ethical animal treatment.
Yes, when you think animals, think meat.
Think MEAT.
Okay.
So we want to bring you on. We want to bring a superhero on to be the face of meat. We want to put
That's
your face
why-
on meat.
We are thrilled to be here talking with the Manimal.
That's who? That's not me.
He was joking. We're, of course, talking to Beast Boy.
That dude's green.
You're right. I'm sorry. Obviously, it's very embarrassing. This is obviously, we're here with the Man-Bat himself.
The Man Bat. No, he's
No,
in
it's
he's in
Catman.
Gotham. Who? No.
You're right. I'm sorry. It's the Animorph.
No.
The creature kid.
That's not even a thing, I don't think.
Sorry, creature guy.
There's no creature in the name.
It's creature feature.
There's no creature features.
I'm sorry. Man thing.
What? Ew, no. Gross.
The thing.
No, that's not even this universe.
The pet pal.
What?
Dog man?
No.
Cat dog.
No, my name is Animal Man, and that's the podcast this week.
You can follow us on Twitter at Talkin' Trades. Follow Jeremy on Twitter at LizardKing27. You can find John on Twitter at Maesterlaka, Maesterlaka. And for this and other projects from Matt, please check out Facebook at Matt Spina Music. And remember, we're not experts, we're fans.